The crypto market has been slow this past year. We call this the crypto winter. Now, this isn't the first one that I personally gone through. During the last crypto winter, I made a few strategic investments in blockchain gaming, and they did extremely well when the market picked up again. My feeling is that while it's slow like this is a fantastic time for every investor to really be looking deep at the coming blockchain games and see which ones they think have solid potential. Today, we're joined by two co-founders from Kitsumon. Kitsumon itself has been a longtime strategic partner of the channel. We ran some big giveaways of their Kitsu many months ago, and today we're following up with them as their breeding mechanisms are about to go live so that they can show us what is new and what cool things are happening with their breeding. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. If you like money in crypto and you're looking for a seasoned investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. Do note I'm not a financial advisor, and also note that I do own lots of Kitsu myself as well as their token. Special shout out to our Patreon members. We have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to. Now make it rain on that like button, strap in for the show, and let's welcome our guests, James and Sanjay.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
All right. I appreciate you sharing a bunch of things in the lead up to this so I could dive deeper and research some of the things that are new. For those that haven't ever heard of Kitsumon, would you give the viewers an overview of what Kitsumon is?
Sure. So Kitsumon is a game that is centered around these creatures called kitsus. Which are NFT game characters. And these game characters you can use in a variety of different game titles that we're currently working on. The main use or the main game that we are developing for the kitsus is the multiplayer online battle arena, the MOBA game. And we're also in development of a open world metaverse, which we are calling Kitsumon Professions. And yeah, we started the project around this time last year and been building it since.
Yeah, I love it. I was cheating a little bit by reading through your updated white paper, and I felt like it was fantastic. I don't know about the viewers out there, but I have a hard time when the white papers just completely print, just reading through, and a bunch of them are. You did a good job of giving great visuals the whole way through it, and I really appreciate that. And as well as on the left side, right, it tells you what page to skip to, which you can then easily do if you're looking for a specific thing. Say I want to look at bloodlines. I then click on 9, takes me right to there, right? So fantastic work on this. Do you mind if I play a quick video? I'd love the viewers to see a little bit about your breeding and just what's going on with the breeding, just for the visual before we then talk about it.
Sure.
So I'm just going to open this up bigger. So this your potion sale is coming live. Do we know? So it should be live as this video airs, correct?
Yes, the potion sale is live now, actually.
Perfect. So they can breed the two kitsus together. It then creates a new egg with the DNA from the two parents. And you don't know what traits are going to come and what cosmetics are going to come from the different parents, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So in the background, we are using Chainlink's VRF on-chain random provider to provide randomness from the blockchain. And then we use that in our breeding mechanic to essentially pragmatically stitch different parts of the Kitsu models together. So I think on our website, actually on the main page, is a kind of a good visual representation of this that shows kind of like a blueprint of a Kitsu with all the body parts exploded apart. So yeah, we take all of this on-chain randomness and then we pragmatically stitch together these completely unique looking game characters. But as you said, kind of have this digital DNA that inherits different traits from the parents. So, you know, different body parts might get transferred onto the new kitsus or different colors, as well as all the kind of the actual like battle stats, the racing stats, and the breeding stats. So quite a lot of information packed into the NFT itself.
Yeah, there was an interesting thing I hadn't even realized before that you have integrated into the game that rewards the breeders for a long time.
Yeah, that's right, actually. So one of the, I think you actually mentioned it in the white paper, the bloodlines. This bloodlines is kind of an evolution of the kind of standard NFT royalty. So rather than just the platform or us as a project taking a fee, everything that is traded within our marketplace, if you are the owner of that egg or you were the creator of that egg, you will be inserted into the bloodline history, and then for future sales, you can actually collect some of the percentage of the final sale price in the auctions or the buy nows. So it's kind of there as an incentive for people to keep on breeding, breed good quality kitsus that are useful in the MOBAs and the professions, and to have kind of like a play to earn mechanic outside the actual game and inside of the Kitsumon world economy, so to speak.
Yeah, to really incentivize breeding. So what I understood from the bloodlines, and I guess this illustrates it pretty well, is both the person who hatches the egg. So, for example, you buy an egg on the market, and I was looking at the marketplace before. Somebody buys an egg, you can go right to kitsumon.com. And where was I was on your market?
Should be on Explore.
Okay. And here I could go to buy now and I could find some. So somebody who buys some, say from the lowest price. So they buy this Aquajet one because it hasn't been hatched. The person that hatches it is the one that gets inserted into the royalty forever on any sales of this one. So even if they sell it right away after hatching it, they then every time that one transfers, they would get a royalty. But even better than that, if they use that for breeding, on all the kids that they create, they will be part of the bloodline. So anytime any of those kids trade as well, they would get some royalties kind of lined out here on your white paper. 1.25% of the trade is sent to the creator. That's the person who hatches it, right? And 1.25% is split between the parents of the kitsu.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry,
you gave a good explanation of this the other day, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, so whenever the person hatches a Gen 0 egg, they're essentially going to get all of the royalties, so that's going to be 5%. But if a person hatches a hybrid egg, now this hybrid egg can be bred by one parent, which can be parent A and parent B, and it can be yourself. Or you can breed with someone else's kitsus, and then the parent A and parent B will be different. But then, when you hatch this hybrid egg, the royalties will always pass up the parent, and that would be for 2 generations, which is kind of really nice because as long as that kitsu keeps getting traded, the parents will claw back some profits from this, and the creator will also claw back some profits from this.
Yeah, so I was an early investor in Axie Infinity, and that investment did really well. And what you're developing here reminds me of a lot of what I saw in Axie Infinity during the last bear market, where generally the market was down and they were innovating some ways. Yours is kind of an evolution up from that, with, I would say, more advanced breeding mechanisms. And the royalties is a great addition to it. Because what helped Axie Infinity do so well is then people figured out what traits were valuable together, and the breeding went crazy as people tried to breed the perfect tanks, the perfect for different strategic roles. And the way you've set this up is similar for that, right? That certain traits, and you have these hidden ones. And where do I look at the hidden traits? Let's see. And it was showing when you do breed, you get some that pass that are visible and some that are hidden. There we go. So every bot has certain traits that come with it. One will be visible, or the main trait, and then 3 hidden, right, that can pass. And the visible one has a 40% chance to pass to the child, and these hidden ones each have a 20% chance.
Yeah, so it's kind of like real life breeding, where really long down the family generation, you're going to have some of your grandparents' genes, and you could pass your grandparents' genes to the kid. And this is what we're kind of going for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is cool, and it will make breeding really complex, and probably a lot of people specializing in breeding, not only because they can make money by selling these ones that they breed for specific roles, but even the ongoing royalties, right? So you've really incentivized people to become breeders. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a nice group of people who have been beta testing this for us, and a lot of them are doing the same thing. They're kind of trying to test with certain genes, or trying to see how they can like make specific traits appear more frequently. So yeah, it's kind of like Sanjay said, it's kind of designed and being mimicked on real life. So we kind of imagine people, kind of. What's the word? Similar to like professional dog breeders, where you're trying to breed like specific lineages of dogs, or certain breeds of dogs. You kind of see the same thing like potentially happening in Kitsumon, where you'll get specialized people trying to build people like tanks or good attack kitsus, that kind of thing.
Now, talk to us about what the gameplay will look like. So some of the gameplay, people will be able to have different professions. Obviously, breeding will be something a bunch of people do, but in the game, there's different professions you can have as well. Talk to us about like what the gameplay will look like.
Sure. So the MOBA game itself is going to be a 3D game. So the actual characters that you're seeing on the screen in the actual marketplace and on the website are the ones that are actually going to be used inside of the game. In the open world professions, which we're working on as well at the moment, it's a 2.5D isometric game. That's correct, Sanjay?
Yeah, that is correct. So it's a 2.5D open world isometric game, which means that the world will be vast. There'll be a lot of skills like farming, fishing, mining, and so forth. There would also be monsters that you can fight. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of cool for people to like open world, roam around and explore. Hopefully with their friends or other people from the community, and be able to not only play the professions themselves, but also be able to do like multiplayer quests or multiplayer kind of achievements. As I was saying just before this, trying to bring crypto games into actually being fun. Rather than just them being slowly focused on, people being able to make money. We do want people to make money. I mean, there is play to earn aspects of the game, but I think the games that are really going to shine in this next round of crypto games or blockchain-based games are the ones that are actually fun and keep people interested in the game for long periods of time.
Yeah, completely agree. I was an early investor in Axie Infinity. When the gameplay did come out, I did try playing it. And for me, it was so not fun for a lot of people, but there was a money-making aspect to it. So you had people in some of the third world countries that preferred working there over like the factory job because they could make as much playing the game. So I can't fault them for playing, but I tried to play it for 2.5 hours straight and I wanted to stab my eyes out. And, and I was really excited with what Axie Infinity meant because, I had a thesis that blockchain gaming was going to take over the world. And at the time I was thinking that 4 or 5 years ago, everyone thought I was kind of crazy, but I liked this idea of ownership. And so when Axie Infinity proved that ownership makes a difference, it proved the model, even though their gameplay was so boring. But this next iteration, people are going to expect more fun gameplay, characters that are likable, right? And I really think your kitsus are really cool looking. So
great, thank you.
Yeah, I like it. I like the breeding mechanism so that you can get the different parts. I'm looking forward to breeding myself because I have a bunch of these and I'm gonna do some breeding myself and play around with it and have some fun with it. Let's see. So right now, let's talk about the potion sale. Now, I will have a link below in the video if you're watching this that you can use my link, and there's like a 20% referral fee. I'll if you're interested in getting 20% more yourself, I'll tell you all how to do that a little bit later in this video. So stay tuned with that. So let me just pull up because there was some tiers on the potion sale. Where I need to, there we go. Just want to share my screen. Oh, that's not the one I was looking for. This one. Okay. So the first 25,000 potion that are sold, they're selling at just $5 a piece, right? Or the equivalent of that on the Polygon network in like wrapped ETH or something.
So everything in the ecosystem is always done in our native token KMC.
Okay.
So that's always there as a kind of a benefit of the utility token. So we don't collect like ETH or stable coins for all of this. We purely bank on the fact that we see like the long-term future in the token and the utility of the token. But yeah, the potion sale is kind of a different take to the breeding mechanic, again, like compared to Axie, where you're like earning this token. It's not really a token or an NFT, it's just a game state within the contract. But yeah, it's designed as a batch price offering. So as you said, the early prices are the equivalent of $5 worth of KMC, and they go all the way up to, I believe, the price. What's the maximum price? Was it $50, Sanjay?
Should have been $50. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, $50. And yeah, it's the idea is being able to get in and buy the potions early can benefit you further on down the line when the potions are more expensive. And it was also designed as this, again, another problem that we saw in other games with breeding mechanics, but there wasn't much control in the population supply. So having the increase in batch prices as well is designed as a mechanic to help control that population. So, as the population's bigger, it's just going to be much more expensive for people to breed to kind of keep that availability and supply in demand and supply in equal amounts.
Okay, makes sense. And it also acts as a sink for the KMC token. So
Exactly.
on this site, this is where it is. And here's where everyone can create their own referral link. So I'll have mine down below. But for those that want to get an extra 20%, and I don't mind you doing this, I wouldn't feel bad. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. Use my referral link to get there. But then you can always create your own referral link. And if they paste it in the same browser, right? They open up, paste in the same browser. Will it reset it to be theirs?
Yeah, it should.
Well, yeah.
Perfect. So, and I don't feel bad about you doing that or whatever. If it helps you get an extra 20% in potions, I'm super excited. Now, one of the downsides is you do have to create a second wallet. So you'll have to create, like if you're using MetaMask, then create, what do? You go down and you can create another wallet within that same account, and it'll create another one. And so this is actually the same mechanism that Gods Unchained used during the last bear market, and also actually Infinity used. And so this was a little technique that many of us that bought used to get even more. And it won't hurt my feelings. Trust me, I'm going to do okay. If you get 20% more, I get excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a referral link. It will be able to be used actually in the future, like across the website. So you'll be able to refer people, and if they buy things from the marketplace or buy land in the future, people will be able to use it as just a mechanic of again earn some money from the platform by referring friends and people to it.
Yeah, I like that mechanism because it does give people good incentives to either spread it to their friends or even to be able to get more for the same amount. So that was a little trick. That's actually how I learned. Axie Infinity and Gods Unchained had that same mechanism. That's what I had to then Google a video on how to add a second account to my MetaMask because I didn't know how at the time. And that's what made me add a second and then a third account is because of that mechanism.
Keep on collecting all the royalties, definitely.
Yeah. And the guy who showed it to me told me to do that. And I was like, at first I didn't because I want to make sure he got something for it. But then after I kept buying more, I was like, sure. And he keeps telling me to do it. So I guess I will. So.
Everyone loves a little bit of a discount. So it's okay.
I know I do, right? And so I imagine a lot of our viewers do as well. Now, excuse me. In the game, part of the reason for these different, all these different Kitsu is that they each have different abilities, right? And they also have strengths against others and weaknesses against others. Let me see if I can find. So that's the distribution of eggs. Let's see. I want stats and abilities, maybe page 6.
Yes, I believe so. There should be a table, I think, that shows the breakdown of types against types.
Yeah, elements. And then I was looking at that, the table where it shows what it has strengths against and what it doesn't. So each one has a strength against another type of kitsu, and then weaknesses against others. That was the chart I was looking for, and I don't remember which page I had that on.
It's on page
here.
14, actually.
14, yeah.
Called, yeah.
Yep, there we go. So, and this is the reason that a lot of people that are playing the games will probably have lots of kitsu, because they're not only trying to get ones with the different affinities, but ones with the right parts within that too, right?
And yeah, that's right. So when when they're doing like the multiplayer MOBAs, I mean they're obviously going to be able to control their one character. If they're playing with friends as like a guild or a clan, then you probably want to like try and get the elemental affinities that kind of balance out your team. So getting a fire, a water, and a lightning, or something that can try and make the team rounded against each other.
Yeah. So that makes sense. About the MOBA, so there will be this open world gameplay where you can train and you can do all these other activities, but then you can go into 5-on-5 MOBA battles, right? With like a team of 4 other people and compete against 5 people. So 5v5 in your multiplayer online battle arena, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So again, the idea of doing these 2 games was always, again, like we're saying, to make it fun and give people options in what they wanted to do with inside of this kind of this kind of brand of game. So people want to play MOBAs, and I think this kind of came when we in the early days. We was talking about the kind of games you like playing, and I don't think Sanjay's actually a big fan of MOBAs. He's a fan of the RPGs. So it was like, well, if you've got some gamers that don't like certain games and you like certain other ones, you don't want to like exclude certain people from like being involved in the whole game or the whole project. So people can go and play the MOBA battles, and once they get bored of that, they might want to then go into the professions. And the professions really does tie in the rest of the kind of gameplay and the ecosystem. So in the professions, having land there, you'll be able to yield resources from that land, such as growing food or making potions, and all of these stuff that you yield with inside of professions then can be used in the different areas. So, the very simple example we always like to refer to is like if your kitsu has been damaged after a MOBA, you'll then want to go into the professions and try and craft a potion or cook some food that will restore the health of the kitsu after you've finished battling it. That said, some people might not be interested in the other styles of gameplay, and other people want to be able to again yield KMC or money from the game. So if that's what they want to do, they can then take all them resources that they've yielded and then go into the marketplace and actually sell them to the other people who aren't interested. So again, we try to make it as flexible as possible. People who want to play one or the other style of gameplay can do, or they can play all of the gameplay start to finish.
I like the number of different options, because sometimes I want to play like a MOBA, but sometimes I like the open world stuff, like the MMORPG, where you're like building things, right? And there's like economics involved. I wanted to see, because you have the testnet open, show us what it looks like, because the live net, when we're recording this, it's like a day before everything goes live on the live net. So right now it's just the testnet. So here you have the test net. I wonder if you could show us what breeding is going to look like.
Yeah, sure. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep, I can.
Perfect. So this is our new NFT Wallet Dashboard. This is basically a page the user can go to view their NFTs. Before we had a quite different page to this. Then they can go and click these 3 dots and then click hatch. This is a Gen 0 egg, so I'm currently hatching a Skyfall. So I click hatch, and that would bring me to the Kitsu Dex, and I'd be able to see my egg. So then I can basically click the hatch button, and it's simple as a transaction or 2, and then it should be hatched. Might take a while though.
And this is all on the Polygon network. So transactions take a little bit for the hatching and stuff, just because Polygon's a little bit slow, but it's so cheap. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just playing around with the breeding and the hatching, and I think it was less than a cent to do transactions on this. So hopefully people can go and do lots of breeding and not have to worry about the gas fees compared to Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah, because ETH, they just had their big update, but still the fees are several dollars to do anything. And I don't know. It's no fun to do 50 transactions at $3 or $4 or $5 or $10, $12 a piece. And back when, gosh, last year, sometimes ETH transactions were $100. So
Yeah.
I once paid like 750 ETH transaction fee. And I was just like, oh my God. So I'm
I
really
think
built on
I think that was when that was the case. I think people kind of started to think blockchain gaming wasn't ever going to be viable with the transaction has been so expensive. But luckily, like these layer twos and these cheaper chains came in and kind of still made the the space viable. Really, otherwise it just wouldn't be. No one would want to spend like say $20-$30 on doing on a game transaction when they can just play the PlayStation and not have to worry about that, right? So. It's good that this is coming into play.
Yeah, it makes it hard. Like people would do transactions if the monetary value was substantial. But other than that, it made it hard to make sense on the ETH chain. But on Polygon, it's like, so sometimes transactions, because when I was buying some of your chests, right, back when you did your sale and was on Polygon, sometimes the transaction would take a couple minutes before I'd have the animation that would open up the chest and show me what I got. I didn't mind overspending $3 for maybe a transaction that would take 12 or 15 seconds. I'd rather just pay like under a penny and have it take a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if I'm going to be doing lots of transactions.
Yeah, I mean, Polygon is good, but I mean, this is one of the issues that we do see with this chain that, it does sometimes get congestion with the amount of games on there. And hopefully, I know that one thing that we know that might happen is that the transactions for the breeding are actually quite large. So we're kind of touching wood that hopefully we don't become the next people to be congesting the chain. But if it does happen, it's a good problem to have, I think. So, yeah.
It is. And Polygon is continuing to work on making their chain better and faster. Working on the sharding to make it so that it can handle a lot more transactions per second. And that'll solve a lot of the problems over time. ETH's working on the same thing. We would all love for ETH to do it, but ETH has so far to go before that's ready, right? So Polygon's ahead of it on that aspect.
No, definitely. Yeah, I don't think we'll see any of the ETH kind of scaling solutions anytime soon, really.
So I'll also put below, for anyone who wants to see it, I'll put a link to the white paper. I do think the white paper is worth a read. It's pretty quick reading through it, so you can really get a full feel for this. It goes into the tokenomics of the token itself. Lots of great stuff. A little bit of breakdown on how the eggs were distributed for the Gen 0 eggs and how that happened. Some of their early backers. Cool. We lost your screen there for a second, Sanjay.
Did you guys? He seemed to hatch.
Oh, good. Any chance you could reshare the screen, it will come back up. Here we go. Nice. So I hatched
cool
the Skyfall. God, that looks so good.
And you can see all of his statistics and abilities on the right-hand side.
Okay.
So yeah, the
abilities of cold-blooded, I can't read, lofty heights, and what a day.
Yep. So the passive abilities are quite cool because, again, talking about trying to tie the different games and the NFTs into all the different things that we're doing. We added this option of the passive abilities actually having an effect in the professions. So you might not want to do this with the Gen Zeros, but definitely the hybrids. Again, talking about sinks for certain, inflating areas. Since the population of kitsus is always going to be increasing, what we did was in the passive abilities, we made them usable in the open world professions. So what you could actually do essentially is burn a kitsu and then unlock that passive ability inside of the game. So if you have one, I think there's one called, for example, like Crop Master. If you were to burn that hybrid Kitsu onto your land, that Crop Master passive ability would increase the output of your farms that are surrounding that Kitsu on the land. So it's just trying to add more abilities and use cases for the and utility for the NFTs.
That's fascinating. So you can burn on that piece of land because you're going to have a land sale down the road. So say I own 10 pieces of land, I can burn a Kitsu that I bred that has that ability, and it'll permanently associate it with that piece of land.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, and we've done this as a, like we said, as a sync for the Kitsus, because even though we have the batch pricing, we always will sell potions, right? So there always is a chance of the population ever getting, continuously bigger. And if we don't have some sort of sync, then obviously the supply will just outgrow the demand. So giving these abilities for people to, take them out of the game and not be sad about, potentially, burning a Kitsu that they might spend $5 on getting a potion for, they could then make it up inside of professions.
That's really cool. So you can permanently increase the value of that land. And even if that land was then traded, would that trait carry with it?
Exactly. Yeah. You can choose to sell that land with all the burnt Kitsus on the land. So, like you say, it will inherently increase the value of that land that you then own.
Oh, that is so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So you're going to breed. So this is a hybrid that's already been bred.
Yeah. So we've got actually all of the hybrids which have been bred in the Kitsu decks. So anytime anyone breeds a hybrid, it will appear on this Kitsu decks in chronological order.
Oh, nice. So in the testnet, there's been 1,386 bred so far.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Let's go through one of them, Sanjay, and let's have a look at the parents, maybe like one of the 2 Gen 0 parents or something.
Let's take a look at this guy here.
That is so cool. And
so
it
you
will
can
pull
see
up
his
the
parents. Yeah.
This one's quite good because this is talking about the dominant and recessive genes. If you close down this pop-up quickly, Sanjay. Thank you. You can see on his head, hasn't he? He's got the Kitsune logo, which means that this one has previously in its lineage a Kitsune that's been bred with it, even though it wasn't in the immediate parents. And that's why you can see that he's got the head trait of a Kitsune there. Which is quite good. It means that you can get some of the older properties of the parents without having to directly own the parents.
Yeah, because this one was bred with one gen. The parents were 1 Gen 0, but the other one was a hybrid.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And the one on the left was the hybrid. Yeah.
So I go to his parents, and I think Kitsune. Here you go. So his grandparents had Kitsune genes.
So this is
really rare. There's only 250 of them, right? There's 3 that there's only 250 total of out of the 30,000 Gen 0s.
Yeah, the Kitsune, Neutronic, and Silverpaw are all 250 each.
Yeah, one of our viewers on the batch that you gave us, we opened up, they got a Johnny Silverpaw. I was so jealous. Yeah, I was so jealous.
Really good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a bit of a badass, actually. I do like him.
I haven't seen what the Kitsu looks like. The egg looked amazing.
I think Sanjay will be able to show you actually the sort of the top third one. Yeah. It's got a lot of character.
That's awesome. I love the glasses. So, and that's the Gen 0, or is that a hybrid?
That one is it's a Gen 0. This one.
Okay, so he purposely has a different left leg than the right one.
Yeah, I think it was part of the game lore.
That's
came from
comes from.
Yeah, exactly. He's got like a technology, comes from the land of technology, and he was kind of fused with it. So he's got a metal Silverpaw, yeah.
And he's got Fortress, Master Chef, and What a Day passive abilities. Nice.
Yeah, that's right. There's I think on our Medium actually, Sanjay, there's articles about each one of the Kitsus, isn't there? And they go into a lot more detail about the passive abilities and the attacks and what they actually mean with inside of the gameplay. So if any of your viewers are interested, they can find that on our Medium to read more about what their passive abilities are doing.
I love the depth on this. This is really exciting. I love the little animations. It's just coming together so well, right? I've always liked what you've been working on. It's fun for me to see where you're at now.
Yeah, it's been. I think a lot of people couldn't see the vision at the start of like when we just had the egg cards. I mean, the egg cards are cool, but they didn't really understand maybe as much as we knew from, obviously as being part of the team and like getting to know all the stuff behind, like what the kind of vision for these models really was. So now we actually have them and we can go live with them, and we're pretty excited, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the testnet, what you've been showing us looks incredible. I'm excited for it to go live and going to be doing some breeding myself. I did get 2 of the 3 really rare ones. I forget. So Kitsune, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Kitsune, yeah.
There's another one that's at 250. I forget. Is it Negativo?
Neutronic is it subject? Yeah, Neutronic. Yeah, Neutronic.
Yeah. Neutronic.
Sweet. I'm excited to breed those.
Yeah, all the models look really good. I do like the Neutronic one as well.
Yeah, I love it. You have a lot of them. I guess if you might be able to pull up a Dex faster than me and go through the different ones. Oh, I've got it here. Let me share it. So these are all the different ones. This is just showing the egg version of it. So here's the Johnny Silverpaw before he's hatched, Neutronic, and then Kitsune. So there's only 250 of each of these. And then the Pharaoh, which looks really, really cool. I've seen the model for that. Nuclismo I haven't. Balymon I haven't, which looks fascinating. I love the little horns on the egg. Really cool. Negativo looks fascinating too. I'm looking forward to seeing the Kitsune for that. Even a bunch of these. So
the Lucky 777 one, actually, he turned out a lot better than the egg did actually. He's actually like become one of my favorites. But it's quite good. It's quite cool that the amount of work that the 3D artists and the 3D team did just by taking like the eggs and like the lore text that we had for them, and then actually being able to bring them to life into these models. I think they've managed to capture it perfectly, really.
Well, that's fun. Is there anything else you can share with us that maybe nobody else has heard yet, but you can just share with us what's...
I think we mentioned a little bit about it earlier on, but we are going to be formally announcing the land sale in the coming days. So people will be able to, as we mentioned before, the RPG Veterans game will require land. So we're going to be announcing the land sale and the launch pads that we have signed up for that. We've got some really cool new launch pads this time around. A lot of people really focus on the NFT and NFT gaming side. People will be able to start whitelisting process to acquire land in the Kitsumon world. And I mean, if it's hopefully anything like the egg sale, it will be a great success. So keep an eye out on our socials and our channels for when we release all that information.
Will do. Yeah, we appreciate you joining us today. Exciting where you're at. So I'm glad we got back in touch just to see where you're at. And it's really exciting stuff. I'm glad we're able to share with the audience what this is going to look like so that right as it comes out, they can get a feel for it.
No, definitely. So nice to speak to you again and be back.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Great. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Now, yes, the market is slow right now, but know that good decisions made during these pullbacks lead to life-changing ones when the market turns around, and the market will turn around. The rains will come again, and projects that have planted their seeds well and nurtured them well will flourish. And those of you who have found, invested in, been patient with those projects, your portfolios will flourish. This wrap is for all of you to reinforce the principles that I share that make all the difference in higher returns, but it does require patience. But if you can be patient, do the right things, you'll be amazed what can happen over a 4-year and then an 8-year time frame. Life-changing.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps. bubbles and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you're bad before you're good. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to studying to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this road, soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. They go with the hate, say the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.